See you later. Rita.
Thank you, Stav. And that is tonight's BBC News at 10. There's more analysis of the day's main stories on Newsnight with Kirsty Walk, just getting underway on BBC Two. And the news continues here on BBC One, as now it's time to join our colleagues for the news where you are. But from the 10 o'clock team, it's good night.
Thanks, Rita, and welcome to the Late Look North. This is one of the biggest weekends in the North East calendar, one where the world watches on as tens of thousands compete. And those taking part in the Great North Run have been arriving from across the globe. Tonight, the first events took place on the quayside, but all eyes are on Sunday, with thousands set to line the route from Newcastle to South Shields. And many will be hoping to see one of the biggest names in sport on a day that will be poignant, as Lee Johnson reports.
One more time for one of Britain's greatest ever athletes. Sir Mo Farah will bring down the curtain on his glittering career at this weekend's Great North Run, and there's nowhere else he'd rather do it.
For me, it was really important to be able to give back to the community, give it back to the people who supported me throughout the years in Newcastle. Always knew if I was going to make my last race, it has to be the Great North Run.
For the man who first brought Farah to the region, it's a poignant moment.
6 World Championships, 4 Olympic gold medals. He is the greatest sportsman or woman Britain's ever had. And for him to say goodbye on the last appearance on the stage here in front of the crowds at South Shields is an honour for us, it's an honour for the event, and it's an honour for the North East.
60,000 runners will cross this finish line on Sunday, each with their own personal reason for taking part. Jodie's competed in races on behalf of Toby for almost a decade. She's travelled all the way from the US to race alongside him in the Junior Great North Run.
Jodie's been doing races for Toby for over 9 years now. So on Saturday tomorrow they'll get to run and cross the finish line together, and that's really special.
Apparently I don't get Toby's medal. I asked, I know.
His competitive career may almost be over, but with 6 Great North Run wins under his belt, don't bet against him securing a 7th on Sunday. Lee Johnson, BBC Look North, South Shields.
8 people were taken to hospital this morning after a crash in Northumberland involving a van being pursued by the police. Northumbria police say they received a report that a van was stolen in Newburn. It was seen near Cramlington and failed to stop when instructed. Following a short pursuit, the van collided with a car. 8 people were taken to 2 hospitals, one by air ambulance. The Independent Office for Police Conduct is investigating. Now, a few weeks ago, few of us had even heard of it, but RAC, the crumbly concrete, has since closed schools and inspections have been taking place in hospitals. The biggest impact has been on schools, with some buildings suddenly deemed too dangerous to open. RAC's been found in 14 schools across the northeastern Cumbria. It's also been found in 2 hospitals and at the Sands Event Centre in Carlisle. Well, our political editor, Richard Moss, has sent us this report.
For the last 7 days, this school gate has been firmly shut. St Anne's Primary in Gateshead is riddled with RAC. The crumbly concrete no longer considered safe. Quite a start to the term and the first week in the job for its new head teacher.
It certainly wasn't what we were expecting for the first day of term. It wasn't what we'd planned and it wasn't what we wanted.
This is quite a close-knit community that
very much. It's like
school's important to it.
Absolutely. It's a family. It's a little family.
Here to see how the school's managing is Labour Wearside MP and Shadow Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson. The government says it does have a plan to minimise the impact of closures, but she's not convinced at the moment it's a good one.
It has been absolute chaos for the last week, and I've spoken to so many school leaders and staff who've been doing absolutely everything they can to support parents. But I'm worried about the impact on our children, and I'm worried about parents too. Lots of parents having to give up, cut back on hours, take time away from work unpaid to cover childcare.
The school's been doing what it can by keeping in contact with children, despite not being able to even retrieve a pen and paper from a building that's too dangerous to enter.
The reception class met at the park today, and the teacher and the teaching assistant went along to see them. Other schools have been really kind and donated materials because obviously we couldn't get our own stationery.
St Anne's is hoping to get back to face-to-face teaching in alternative buildings next week. It's been a week like no other for schools like this, trying to bluntly work out how you're going to educate children without a building. Plans are being put in place, but it'll be some time before we know just what the long-term impact will be on children in schools affected by this concrete. Richard Moss, BBC Look North in Gateshead.
A man who invaded the football pitch at Leeds United and assaulted Newcastle's head coach Eddie Howe has been jailed. David Derbyshire from Leeds ran onto the pitch and shoved Mr Howe during the Premier League game in May. He admitted entering the playing area without excuse and assaulting the Magpies boss. And he was jailed for 3 months and banned from all matches for at least 6 years. It's time for the weather now. Here's Sarah Thornton.
Evening to you. We had some terrific sunshine for some of us today. In that we saw 27 Celsius. We didn't all see it though. There was some mist and fog. We've got more heat tomorrow, but through the weekend things are breaking down in the form of thundery showers, low pressure taking over our weather. It's going to be very, very different. But through the night tonight, still muggy and uncomfortable. Some mist and fog forming into tomorrow morning as well. Again, temperatures really holding up mid-teens, so it will be warm to start tomorrow morning. At first, that mist and fog, it lifts to sunshine. There might be just 1 or 2 showers starting to come through tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, is not really the breakdown day. Temperatures will still be up in some places in the high 20s Celsius. But for Sunday, yes, from the get-go, we're going to see thundery showers pushing our way from the south, a real difference in temperatures through next week.
Well, that's good weather for running. Good luck if you're doing the Great North Run this weekend. From all of us for now, though, have a very good night. Bye-bye.